Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Entrepreneurial Lunch and Learn offered by the Lawrence Enfield Center for Entrepreneurship at Baruch College. I'm Marlene Lee Kang. I'm the Executive Director for the Field Center here. And the Field Center for Entrepreneurship is a multifaceted division at Baruch College, offering free services and programs for the entrepreneurial community. Today's Lunch and Learn webinar is presented today by Ashley Stoyanov on using your strengths to develop your unique selling proposition. Ashley is a business development coach, strategist, nonprofit founder, and author of HIFA in Training. She works with small businesses and startups to create, develop, and execute their business development and communication strategy to build a better experience for their clients, boost awareness, help with sales, and establish brand loyalty. She's also the founder of the nonprofit Women Crush Music, and leads a team of volunteers to create opportunities for a community of 10,000 plus rising women songwriters. Ashley, that's a lot. Thank you so much. I bet there's so much more about you. Please feel free to share more about you than I've offered here, and go ahead and take it away on your presentation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me. I'm super excited to be here. I will tell you a little bit more about myself in just a second. Let me just get my slideshow up here. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Perfect. Okay. Awesome. Let me just see. Oh, there we go. Okay, so super excited to be here again. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Marlene. So she did tell you a little bit about me already. I am a business development and communication specialist. I work with startups and small businesses to launch and scale. And I do this through a little bit of a hybrid method. And what I call my unique selling proposition is that I really do this through a combination of consulting and coaching, and also integrating myself onto the teams of my clients. And through this method, I've been able to see clients triple their revenue while working with me. And to kind of sum up everything that I've done and all of my experiences, I actually wrote a book. It just came out in February. It's called HIFA in Training. It made the Amazon bestsellers list in the first week that it came out. It was also endorsed by Eva Longoria and a bunch of other amazing powerhouse Latinas. For me as a Latina, it's an incredible honor. So I hope that you will check it out if you are interested. But what we're going to be going over today is actually taken straight from a chapter of the book, which is defining your unique selling proposition and kind of learning how to use all of it to your advantage. So that's kind of who I am. You can definitely read more about me on my website. But one thing that I forgot to mention, which is incredibly important, is that I'm actually a CUNY grad. I graduated from Hunter. So yay, CUNY. That's why I was very, very excited to be doing this presentation with you all. So here's what we're going to cover in today's workshop. You're going to walk away with knowing how to identify your unique selling proposition, why your unique selling proposition is important, how to use your unique selling proposition to your advantage, and also crafting your unique selling proposition statement, also known as a pitch. And I'm going to share a quick, simple formula that you'll be able to use to be able to do that on your own. I have a question to start off, though, and feel free to write your answers in the chat. How many of you worry that you don't stand out in your industry, or that you won't stand out in your industry if you are not yet an entrepreneur? I want to see. Don't be shy. Thank you, Martin. I know this is a common thing that entrepreneurs go through when they're about to launch their business or launch a new product or service. And that's one of the reasons, not even sure where I stand. Don't worry, Cheryl, we're actually going to hop into that in just a moment, because Cheryl brings up a really, really, really great point. But I want to start first by saying you should not worry that you will not stand out, because I do believe that everyone has something unique to offer and bring to the table. No one is going to start the same exact business as you. And the reason that we know that is because everyone has a unique perspective. even if you graduate from the same school and you've taken all the same classes, no one is going to process any of that information the same way that you will. And so that kind of brings us to what is going to make us stand out and knowing how to communicate that with other people. So first, let's take it back to the basics. What is a unique selling proposition? A unique selling proposition, also known as a USP, is your unique perspective, like I mentioned, and this plays a huge part in your marketing strategy, both as you launch and as your business grows. Your USP is going to be what connects you to your customers. It's going to be what makes people buy from you. It also might be what makes people want to work with you, like partners. It's going to be what makes people want to invest in your business down the line, if that's a road that you want to take. You know, it's going to be what keeps people around and keeps them buying from you, right? Customer loyalty, it's a super, super important part of the business. So it's all going to revolve around this unique selling proposition that you have. So to answer Cheryl's question, the key to figuring out where you stand actually does require you to do a little bit of research. You've probably already heard the term market research, but I'm going to share a couple of ways that I like to do market research and what I tell my clients to do. And it's really focusing on looking at your competitors and knowing what they do and how they do it, and then taking a look at what you do and how you're going to do that differently. But before we hop into the competitor analysis part, I want to share a little bit more about market research and some market research strategies or tools that you can use. So there are a few market research databases like Census Bureau and Google Trends. There's a couple of other ones that are great out there, and those can really show you more stats and numbers and can really help you minimize your investment risk if that's something that you're worried about. The second method that I like is talk to your ideal customer. There's two ways you can do this, and I recommend doing them both. And here's why. So the first way is to survey. I really believe in surveying because you can send it a quick 5-question, 10-question survey to about 25 people and get a lot of information that way. But I recommend you then take those answers and take things a step further by interviewing. 10-minute conversations, 15-minute conversations with your ideal customers. Here's why this is beneficial. Not only can you get more elaborate answers from them, but this is your opportunity to create a genuine connection with them. And especially when you're first starting out, this is incredibly valuable for everyone, because these first few customers that you're going to have are going to be the start of what I like to call your VIP community. And these are the people that are going to be truly invested in your business, and they're going to be along for the ride. Even if you're not new and you're starting to really develop that community building part of your business, creating these genuine connections with these ideal customers can help you do that. They will say, wow, you know, Ashley really cares about my feedback, and she's going to build new products or new services based around what I say. Like that, of course, makes them feel very special. And that also might be part of your unique selling proposition. There are so many companies, especially a lot of tech startups, you know, that really lack in focusing in on what their community needs, and they don't take feedback, and that can really set you apart from your competition. The third point is connect with industry colleagues. Who better to speak with than people who have been working with your ideal customer base for a long time? I would definitely recommend interviewing some people in your industry that you admire. Tell them a little bit about what you're working on. Tell them about your products and your services and your customer experience. And they can tell you, hey, this has been done before. This is what worked well about it. This is what they could have done differently. And you might be able to use some of that information. They can also tell you more of the pain points that your ideal customer base has. That saves you a lot of time in doing research as well. And then, of course, they might be able to connect you down the line to people that you might need connecting to. So always good to touch base with other industry colleagues. And then the last point is identifying and analyzing those competitors, which we're going to talk about. So while I don't believe that anyone is going to start the same exact business as you, there are businesses out there that might already be serving the same people or selling similar products or services. So we're going to take these. I usually like to start with about 3 to 5 different competitors. And here are some questions that you can ask yourself when you're doing this analysis. There's a lot on here, but the ones that I like to focus on are, of course, pricing. You definitely want to do target customers, pricing, their customer experience. Quick tip, I like to buy from competitors. Actually, whenever I work with clients in my business coaching, I like to buy from their competitors to kind of see how their customer experience is and kind of see what we can do differently to make our customers feel a little bit more special and appreciated and valued. You know, that kind of goes a long way. Also, what is their communication flow like? How often are they communicating with their customers? How do they encourage loyalty? And of course, what are people saying about them? Are they blowing up in the media? Are they going viral on TikTok? Well, what is happening with them? And see also how you can use that information for your business. Don't worry about writing these questions down. I do believe that this is being recorded and we're going to send out the slides too. So don't worry about writing any of this down. So take a minute to kind of think about, you know, what do you do differently? And I want to take it a step further in this next example that I'm going to show you. But what makes you different makes you strong. And there's a reason that I said this, and this quote is actually the name of a chapter in my book. And I think that a lot of the times, a lot of us who might be like first generation or you know, just underestimated or underrepresented in our industry, we sometimes think that being different is a weakness, when in actuality it really is strength. You know, this different perspective that we bring in life, we can bring that into our business. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about one of my clients. Her name is Melissa Gallardo. She's the founder of Bonita Fierce Candles, and she focuses on making Latino scented candles like Cafecito con Leche, Abuela's Bakery, and all these other scents that remind us Latinos of home and of our culture. So I want to talk to you a little bit about her because her story is very unique. So she actually grew up in Long Island, a very, very, very predominantly white neighborhood, and her parents actually, her parents are Dominican, and they actually did not teach her Spanish. They didn't want her to get bullied. They didn't want her to feel like she was an outsider. They didn't want her to feel like she was different. I'm sorry, my dog is crawling behind me. I have to move around. This is Henry. Working from home, what are we gonna do? So back to Melissa. So her parents never taught her Spanish because they didn't want her to feel different. And you know, as she grew up and she grew older, now she's in her late 20s, she felt like something was missing, and she really, really wanted to connect back to her culture that was never really shown to her and that she never really got to experience. And so that's what ended up leading her to create this candle business, to remind her of the things that she knew that felt like home, that reminded her of home. And so what she did was she used her culture and she used her personal strengths as a media professional to stand out in a saturated market. So Melissa's actually a grad student now at the new school, and she is majoring in media communications and relationships. And so how that helped her is she was able to kind of take this culture of hers and also with her personal strengths as relationship building and connect with these editors to gain a whole lot of press on her brand new business. And now she's on her way to becoming a 6-figure business this year after only being in business for 1 year through all of that press that she was able to get. So that was 100% her unique selling proposition, is her culture and the way that she works as a media professional. That led her to get on BuzzFeed and Cosmo and Good Morning America. And I'm just so proud of her, and I could talk about her forever. But I just wanted to show you an example of someone that took what makes them different and recognize that as a strength and to grow their business. If you're having trouble defining your strengths, I do recommend calling in help. If you're a new business and you have friends and family that might have tried out your products or your services, ask them, take a minute to ask your community, to ask your fans, like what do you see as my unique selling proposition? Because I think a lot of the times we're so wrapped up in our own businesses that we don't actually see what makes us different, because for us, it might just be like common sense. Oh yeah, of course I answer every customer email because that's important to me. But that actually is a really common thing that doesn't happen in a lot of companies. People don't take customers into consideration all the time. So that might be a part of your strengths. That might be what you bring to the table, right? I give an example of a coach because I'm a coach, but I like to ask my clients, what have I helped you with thus far? What problem have I helped you solve? And so a lot of the times they'll say, oh, well, you've helped me find my blind spot. You've helped me strengthen the foundation of my business. You're very empathetic and you're also strategic. And so these are all words that I use now to describe what I do. And once we have kind of that unique selling proposition tied together, what we want to do with that is we want to share it with the world, right? So we want to share our impact. We want to show statistics on our website. How are we doing things differently? We want to keep people inspired by bringing them along on the journey. We want to share with people our vision. What do we hope to change in our industry? What gap did we see that helped us figure out that we wanted to start this business? And share the journey. If you're working on a new product launch, if you're going to be launching a course, if you're writing a book, people want to know about that. And then, of course, lastly, be authentically you. No one can take that away from you. So remember that everyone has something valuable and unique to bring to the table, and just remember that and don't be afraid to show it. So now that we've gone through all of that, I want to share with you my formula on how to craft your pitch. It is what you offer plus who your customers are plus how you do it differently, and that equals your pitch. Some questions to ask yourself while you are developing this is your business model more attractive to clients? Are you really tailoring your products and services based on their needs? How easy is it to work with you? What's your onboarding process? How are you communicating with your customers? Does your culture influence your business like Melissa's? And how can your personal strengths help your business grow? So if you are naturally a good communicator, if you are prone to collaboration and you think partnerships are your strength, use that. If you love to do research, maybe you want to use that in your business. So my example, here's mine, is I'm a business development coach and author who works with the new majority to launch and grow their businesses through a hybrid method of coaching, consulting, and integrating myself in their business as part of their team. Most coaches actually won't do that last part, which is why I like to mention it, because a lot of business coaches will say, okay, here's what you have to do. Good luck. I'm not like that. And I think that that's what makes me really valuable. So just when you're crafting yours, think about that. Think about what do other people not do that I can offer because it aligns with my strengths. Focus on the value that you can bring that no one else can. I'm going to say this over and over and over again. We all have something. We all have something that sets us apart. And even if it seems like there's 8 million people starting tech companies right now, or there's 8 million people starting candle businesses right now, we all have something that's going to make our business different. So that is the end of my presentation. You feel free to follow me on social media. You can also contact me through my website if you want to. And I think we have time for questions now.
We do. Thank you so much for that. I have a few questions, and those in our audience, if you have questions, go ahead and put that in the chat. So Let's start with how do you talked a lot about being different. How do you categorize your difference in comparison to your competitors without making that the focal point of your call to action? Like, you don't want to say, I mean, I'm going to just be generic, Pepsi's going to say they're better than Coca-Cola. So as opposed to pitting yourself against a competitor, how do you stand out within the same breath of saying, pick me over the other?
That's a great question. And I think this is where being very in tune with who your target audience is comes to play, right? Because the more you know about your target audience and the more you know about, really, I'm going to stop from saying target audience and kind of say buyer persona instead, because you can take a look at the people who have bought from you before and say, okay, these kind of people, this is what's important to them, right? For example, right? Maybe we're a more sustainable company. Maybe we use less sugar or no sugar at all, a natural option. I'm going with the Pepsi example. And we can say all of these things because we know that those are important to our target audience, to our buyer persona. And that's what sets us apart from these other companies. And by just sharing all of that information, that we're more sustainable, that we only use natural ingredients, that we have less calories than the other, right? Whatever it is that we want to share, people are automatically going to be attracted to that. That is our way of saying we are better than X.
How long do you maintain that sort of message? Every business evolves. So wherever you start off on as your difference, how long do you stay on that message of that difference before maybe your campaign changes or your messaging changes? What's the right amount of time to significantly impact your target, I guess, to really understand why you're better than your competitor?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, your audience is going to tell you that. Because we have to think, right? If COVID taught us absolutely anything, it is that the world is changing all the time, and the way that we've run our business in 2018 is not going to be the same way we run our business in 2022 because of XYZ 8 million things that are happening in the world. And with those changes become changes in our customers' needs. What they needed before is not what they need right now. And we have to be in tune with that.
You mentioned that if you have trouble identifying your unique selling proposition, to calling for help, talk to the people that have been customers or people who know you and know somewhat of your business. Does that also include some sort of beta testing, knowing so that your product is getting an evaluation as well, so they can say whether it's a candles, like it doesn't burn long enough, or it's too fragrant, or things like that? Is that an important part of this process?
I would say 100% yes. So when I talked about market research and I talked about interviewing your ideal customers, these ideal customers can eventually turn into your beta testing group, right? Because from the very beginning, you're asking them, okay, let's continue with the Pepsi example, right? Like, what soda do you drink right now? Why do you like it? Why do you not like it? What are you looking for in a soda? How much are you willing to pay for this soda? And you can take all of that feedback and then in a few months down the line say, hey, thank you so much for interviewing with me. I actually came out with this new soda. I would love to send you some and get your feedback on it. And that kind of becomes your beta test group and your VIPs, down the line. They're going to be the ones that are actively buying from you. And not only that, but referring you to their friends, which is so incredibly powerful. Word of mouth marketing still wins 100%, right? Through every other way of marketing. And people really value just being a part of the process. I'm going to give you a real life example. So I am doing my first Kefan training retreat. It's a business and cultural retreat this fall in Mexico. and I only wanted to open up like 6 or 7 slots because I wanted to keep it a small group. And I was a little bit nervous because I've never done a retreat before. However, what I did was I actually didn't even launch it publicly until I decided to open up more slots, because I said, I'm going to open up this opportunity to my beta test group, to my VIPs, a list of 25 women. And guess what? Within a day, all of the slots from the retreat were sold. I had to open up more slots to make it public so I can get an unbiased opinion from the retreat. But that kind of just goes to show you how powerful this beta test group, how powerful this VIP community is going to be for you.
That's really interesting. I mean, that's a great problem to have, that from your beta test group, now you're sort of filled. One of the things that we do at the Field Center that's brand new for us is that we've started a test kitchen to offer this opportunity that is on the customer feedback and inquiry side of making business decisions through data. And we're following some of what you've already established, but we're not necessarily sure exactly if we're taking the steps that are as meaningful for businesses because of a capacity issue, right? Where we're a small team, we're trying to establish the right ways to do testing and get feedback. But our test kitchen is in beta testing in itself, right? So is that the right perspective to take to understand how to build this service of our own by being a beta test of ourselves, beta testing everyone else? Does that sound about right?
That's the only way. That's the best way to do it, in my opinion, right? And you have kind of that advantage where, I mean, when you let me try to think of the beta test example. I don't know if you were ever like following Girl Boss or something like that, but they had the Girl Boss online like community in beta for like years, like literally years. But the kind of cool thing about publicly saying like this is our beta test phase is people know that, and people kind of go in with being like, okay, well, they're just trying things out, and we get to be along there for the ride and kind of try things out with them, and they like that experience. And so you kind of have the advantage right now to ask everyone like, hey, like, we're beta testing this beta test situation. What have you liked about it? What can we do better? And, you know, knowing that you're a small team, you can figure out ways, like maybe it's not hiring more people, but maybe if you're offering a lot of different programs within this best beta test center, like you can scale back on that and just focus on doing less things, but like building them out stronger, if that makes sense. So yeah, I think that's great.
It absolutely makes 100% sense, and it's helpful because we are playing around with different ways to offer our service, but meaningful enough that we can fulfill and provide our clients meaningful data to help them, but also not to have a burden on the team when we're overpromising, because overpromising is an issue just in general for all businesses too. That was really helpful. I think you have some potential clients in the chat because they're asking for your email and for what you charge per hour. But maybe you give your email and you can have conversations with these folks off the recording, so that
is my email address, everyone. Thank you so much. If you email me, I will get back to you and answer all your questions.
Well, if there are no other questions, I probably will email you some questions on our own beta testing project that I found. If there are no other questions from the audience, I want to thank you, Ashley. This was really insightful, very helpful, and really glad that you shared some from your book, because we really know this is your unique selling proposition and you're sharing this with us for free with our community. So we appreciate you for this. I want to thank everyone else that's participating on this webinar. You guys can do anything else during lunch in the springtime, and you're here with us, and we appreciate you for that. And this was our last Lunch and Learn for our spring semester here at Baruch at the Field Center. We will have some more coming in the fall, so everyone look out for my emails with that information. And I wish you all will come back and have a great summer as well. Thank you so much, Ashley. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.